day of service. And now, as you all know and have perhaps been anxiously waiting for, we will adjourn to Brother Spears' place for our annual potluck picnic. And in response to that, I'm sure that everyone will say, Amen. Good to see you. Coming to picnic now, aren't you? Well, we'll see you later. Well, hello. Look forward to seeing you. See you later out at the picnic. Get a little something to eat. Well, Angie, dear, how are you? Good to see you. How do you do? Enjoyed your music today. So fine. Well, smiles, all the smiles. Love to see you. Well, I'd love to, honey. Where are you sitting? I'll come go with you now.
Well, hello, Reverend. Grandma and I consider it quite a compliment that you'd come and join us.
Well, I was so pleased when Angie invited me.
Speaking of compliments, that was a pretty good sermon you gave us this morning.
Well, thank you. You know, I was thinking, while I was watching the congregation get together out here today, I began to think back over the years at all the summers and all the picnics and all the history that's represented right here in this congregation, people growing up and living out their lives.
Well, yes, I can remember back, well, when you and I both were a lot younger, just how difficult it was sometimes to get into church on a Sunday morning, especially in the wintertime and during the spring. Those muddy roads were really something awful.
Ah, yes. In the beginning, there was mud.
Yes, Grandpa was right. It was awfully muddy back then. And with the mud came dust and other problems. Back in those days, it could take a brave driver as much as 2 days just to get from Oklahoma City to Tulsa and back. As more and more people bought automobiles and trucks, their demands for better roads became louder. Legislators all over Oklahoma began hearing the ultimatum, get us out of the dust and mud. Political promises were made and campaigns were waged to do just that. Men and machines surged forward, but the funds and manpower of the Highway Department was no match against the popularity of the automobile. Early attempts to improve Oklahoma's roads were moderately successful. Those improvements and the lifestyle that came with them suddenly took a back seat to the disasters of the Depression and the catastrophe we remember as Oklahoma's Dust Bowl days.
Even with all their problems, life was a lot more peaceful then. Today, with all these luxuries, people rushing here and rushing there and rushing everywhere, people just don't have time anymore for the good things. The world's going too fast. I'm not so sure the money is worth what we've spent for all this progress.
Now, Grandpa, don't get upset about it.
Well, it's true. The world's going too fast. Progress. Come on, I'll beat you in a game of horseshoe.
Well, I'll have to admit you're still the champ. And I'll admit that life does go a little bit too fast. Too many demands on all of us.
True. That's true. But I guess a lot of people do depend on progress for their livelihood.
The price has been high. As the population has increased, so have the demands. We have over 12,000 miles of highway across the state of Oklahoma, and they are vital to us as individuals.
What do the roads mean to me? Well, I couldn't make a living without them, and I don't think you could either. Or anybody, for that matter. At least not the kind of living we've been used to. There isn't a thing you buy today that doesn't have the cost of freight included in the price. I remember back in the late 40s when we all used those two-lane roads. You couldn't pass, you couldn't maintain speed, and you used dang near every gear in your box slowing down for curves and those four-way stops out there in the middle of nowhere. Now, today I can get out on the interstate and go my speed. Everyone else can either pass me, or I can get around them without worrying about someone getting killed. I ain't no evil Knievel. I want to get where I'm going just like everyone else.
Twice a year, time is critical to me as a farmer, or it can be. That's when I'm planting or when I'm harvesting. If we have an equipment failure at either one of those times, we need to get parts out here right now so we can get on with it. Farmers gripe about taxes just as much as anybody, but I can't think of a single tax dollar that I get as much back from as the tax dollars that go into the highways. If the roads today were as bad as they were when my daddy was working this place, I don't think I'd have the patience to be farming. I remember one year my daddy lost an entire wheat crop. It was ripe and ready to cut. The road was so bad he couldn't get into town to get a part for his combine. Big storm come up, leveled his crop before he could get that part. If you'd asked my daddy on that day what a good road was worth, he'd have told you. So you see, I ain't interested in hearing any of this stuff about gasoline taxes or highway department budgets. For my money, that's about the best public dollar we spend.
Every year this family hits the open road, just to see some more of America. We meet all types of people from all walks of life, and we make new friends every year in some of the campsites we stay in. But none of this would really be possible if it weren't for the highway system. We really couldn't afford to take a vacation any other way. You might say that the road ahead is our vacation.
I see more than just cars and trucks out here. I see people. And from where I sit, two things are obvious. People rely on our road system as a basic necessity of life. And second, they take them for granted. They expect to travel safely on adequately marked, well-designed roadways. But a lot of our roads just aren't safe. Many of them were designed to meet the traffic needs 20 years ago. Well, looks like we got a fender knocked down here. Whose car is it? And I can almost predict where some of the accidents are going to occur. Many of them will happen on older roads with inadequate shoulders and narrow bridges. That car was lucky. Just got off on a soft shoulder and ended up in the ditch, and fortunately no one was hurt. Many of our roads are bad simply because of inflation, increased maintenance costs, inadequate funding, and something's got to be done. We get tired of seeing people hurt on roads like this that can't be upgraded due to inflation. Some people think that you're making an emotional appeal when you ask them, how much is a life worth? Well, I can say this, there's not enough money in the whole world to pay for the pain that people will go through when they lose someone in a fatality accident on roads like these.
Next 34 has signal 76, possible 82, 4 miles east of the Verdigris River Bridge on State Highway 33, 20-30 hours, take 1857.
Increased traffic on our roads, and because of inflation, we're falling behind in Oklahoma. Almost 40% of our roads are inadequate or downright unsafe because of not having the funds to keep them right.
Oh, for goodness sake, will you look at that pothole? I tell you, the state ought to do something about these potholes. Getting so a little old lady can't take a nice leisurely drive in the country. Wish a good sleepy drive, right? You can't. It ain't where you more with puddles. Oh boy.
We do the best we can with what we have, but we want and we need better roads. Oklahoma's industry, its commerce, and its growth depend on its highway system.
Our road funds in Oklahoma have been stretched to the limit. The costs of keeping a road in good shape have skyrocketed, and we are all affected. Like Grandpa said, is it worth all the cost? That's what all of us have to decide.
Well, Reverend, thank the Lord I haven't got a Model T and miles of muddy roads to travel to get me and Grandma home. Bye, Reverend.
Get them all home safely. Get them all home safely.
Good times and good things make us smile. Good times and good things, that's the style. Good times and good things, mile by mile. Good times and good things, smile by smile. Life is filled with good times we treasure for a while. Life is filled with good things that always make us smile. And if you ask the question, what song will make me sing? I'll answer with a melody of good times, good things. Good times and good things make us smile. Good times and good things, that's the style. Good times and good things, mile by mile. Good times and good things, smile by smile. The road ahead brings good times, and good times bring us friends. The road ahead brings good
asked a question of which song you should sing. Just join me in the melody of good